hit record because I know I have a few people that aren't going to make it on tonight. Joey had a death in the family, you guys, so be praying for her. So she said she might come on, but obviously I understand if she can't. So you guys, I have a lot to go over, and I wrote up some notes, and I was looking back over some training that I've been going through with Josh Coates, and I'm like, okay, there's so many things I could go over with y'all tonight. And so I'm going to try to not talk too long, and then at the end, we're going to have you each speak on just sharing, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how did your week go? Where are some areas that you need help with? So as you may know, like, I'm actually in a training similar to what you're doing. I don't even want to call it a training. It's more of accountability push group, right? Because the purpose of this group is not for us to give you a bunch of training and things that you have to listen to. We have plenty of that we can get to on our own, but to actually put things into action and really help us get focused on the things that are important that, you know, we can often think we're doing the right things when we're working our business time, but we can often get very distracted. And so the tracker is there to help really give you focus. So let's see, I wanted to start with, okay, so why are we tracking, first of all? And I know that for me, I hate Excel spreadsheets. If you guys, I know Julie's known me a really long time and knows, like, I don't like I mean, I like to check lists off, but I don't like being pushed into a tracker that I have to use. But I have enjoyed being able to still track my invites the way I want and my follow-ups the way I want, like using TeamZ. I'm still doing that. But I like the way the tracker still, at the end of the day, I can look at that and say, okay, if I can check all of these things off, I know I've won the day, and it's really given me focus. Even the things with, like, you know, tell me what to post each day, because I know I need to post about the business opportunity a few times a week, or I need to post about, you know, products and call to actions. But actually having it just tell me when to do that makes me just to focus better on it and not feel so squirrely, and use my time a little more wisely. So, you know, the trackers, they don't lie, right? I mean, you could fib on it, but hopefully you don't, because you're only hurting yourself, right? But humans, we're all liars. I'm a liar, you're a liar, meaning we're always going to give ourselves more of the benefit of the doubt. Like, for example, if we had a good intentions of showing up 5 days of the week, doing your power block, you're going to be like, all right, my intention was good. Like, I meant to do that. Whereas we're going to be harder on someone else. You know, say it's your coach who says they're going to show up 5 days a week, and then they only show up 2, and you're like, oh, well, you only show up 2 days a week. You're going to be harder on them, when we really need to be looking at ourselves and making sure that we're showing up for ourselves as well. So the trackers are all about action. You know, you're not going to see me posting a whole lot of training. I might post some podcasts or something in there every once in a while that I think are really helpful, or, you know, something that I'm doing to help keep myself organized and on track, but not a lot of training going up in there. And you guys can use that to help each other. That group is for you guys to lean on one another. If you need some help with a coach, if you need some help with an invite you're sending out, post it in the group. Or if you found something that's really helpful to you, post it in the group for the other people to share. So we'll do a weekly call out. So I haven't done that yet. I used that first week when I first set it up, like a half week for you guys to kind of look at it. And look, kind of get your feet wet. And then this was your first full week of doing the tracker. So I'll look at it, you know, tonight or tomorrow morning, but we'll do a weekly call out I'll look at it. I'm going to try to be consistent looking at it on Sunday evenings. And if it's Sunday night let's say by 7 p.m., you haven't filled out your tracker by at least 70%. So, you know, if you miss some things, that's okay. Like, there was a couple things here and there on my tracker this past week that I didn't quite do, like a certain post or whatever. Maybe I posted something else. But you need to have it filled in by 70%, okay? And then I'll do I'll shout you out in the group if you didn't do it. I'm going to call you out. And that's just because I really want to make sure I'm providing good accountability for you guys. In fact, I told some of you this, I know I talked to Deanne about this, that's one of the areas I feel like I've not been as great as a leader as I could be, because I'm always afraid of, I'm going to hurt someone's feelings if they get kicked out of a group or something. And I'm like, we're going to do this a group and it's going to be kick butt accountability. But then I'm always like, oh, it's okay if you didn't get it done. And that's not doing kind of a disservice, right? Like, I want you guys to really learn to show up and put these actions into place. So I'll shout you out in a group. I'll call you out more. I shouldn't say shout you out. Call you out like, hey, get your tracker done. Kind of like putting your name on the board, you know, in kindergarten when you don't want your name written on the board because you're being bad. And you'll have 48 hours to make it up, okay, and get it to 70%. And then after that, we'll have a conversation about, okay, do we need to pull you out for now, and then try again in a month or two and see if you're ready for it then. So that's what the tracker's for. And teaching, I mean, the things on the tracker are teaching you guys to do the behaviors that has been proven that successful coaches are doing. And like I said, I think that sometimes we think that we're doing all the right behaviors, but we're like scrolling, oh, this is a cute video. Oh, look what she's wearing. Oh, let me check out that boutique. And we get super distracted. Or it's like, well, let me change my profile picture. Or let me check out Linktree and switch all of that up. And we work for 2 or 3 hours, and then we're like, well, we never sent a darn invite, or we didn't get through, you know, any follow-ups. And so this is really to make sure that you're winning the day and getting those things done first, and then anything like changing your profile picture and all that should be over and beyond. But okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about goal setting and creating urgency. I love that word, urgency. Because I think that it's something that we all need a little bit more of in our lives in order to help us reach our goals. You know, we can sometimes say, well, man, I'd love to make, you know, $5,000 a month or 6 figures or whatever your goal is, but we don't put a timeline on it, and there's no sense of urgency to get you there. And so really learning to raise that bar is really important. And you guys, I mean, the business does take work. If you want to leave your job, if you want to, you know, bring your husband home or whatever it is your goal is, it does take the daily grind, the unsexy stuff that's on this tracker, you showing up and doing it every day consistently. And what you do is what you're going to attract and what your coaches are going to do as well. So it definitely helps to breed energy. And I mean, maybe you guys can speak to this, but when you first saw the tracker, like the first few days, or maybe even this first week, did it kind of freak you out? Was it hard? Did it overwhelm you? Anybody want to say anything? I mean, Julie, let me see. He's talking.
I was just kind of like, okay, what does that mean? What does this mean? Like, just trying to figure out which each day meant. Yeah. When it said ring the bell, what did that,
gotcha.
You know?
Yeah, some of that stuff.
So that was just a little bit of figuring it out, but not, I didn't think it was overwhelming or anything like that.
The number part didn't scare you? Yeah. Well, I think, like in my group, we're doubled those numbers. And at first, few people were like panicking. But I will tell you, it has, because it's written out for what I need to focus on, it's actually starting to save me time, because I know that those are the things I need to get done, and I'm not just kind of all over the place during the day. So I think, you know, if you can really learn to really get focused on it, you're going to learn to love the tracker rather than it overwhelm you. It's going to get you more focused and ease some of that overwhelmed feeling, because it's like, okay, I checked all those things off. I'm good. I can shut it down. I've done my things. But we do want to set some, like, you know, big, scary goals for yourself. And here's the thing with goals, you guys. I actually had a conversation with Greg this weekend about it. You should have seen it. It was really funny. My mom was like, did you really do that? I was walking him through a goal setting and how he really needs to write down a date. Like, what is your date to go interview for this helicopter fixed wing position? And he's like, I don't know a date. I don't want to think of a date because I don't know. And I'm like, but you've got to have something to aim for. Or what are you working towards? And you might put that date down, and then we may have to move it out another month. But that's okay. And I said, do you know how many times I've written down goals and had to move them out to the next quarter or whatever? But that's what helps create that urgency, is creating those scary goals that are attainable, but at the same time are going to push you. Like, you don't want to set a goal that you know, oh, I know I can do that. Like, if I set the goal for myself, Success Club 5, I know I can do that. That's not a problem for me. So I have to really raise that bar and push myself. Like, my Success Club average, when I looked it up, because Josh made us take our Success Club average and like multiply it by a certain number. And mine was like 32, and he wanted it multiplied by 1.5. And I'm like, that's kind of crazy. But anyway, I'm not asking you guys to do that extreme, but I do want you to push yourself, because if all you're pushing for is just Success Club 5, and then you're like, well, it's not too hard, and then you wait till the end of the month, it's like the 25th of the month, and you're like, I need to hit Success Club. There was no urgency before that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I just really want to get that free hat. And you could have, if you were consistent all month long and you start to build that momentum, Success Club's going to get easier. But you've got to do the things on the tracker that help you fill your funnel, that help you plant the seeds. Deanne is experiencing this month because she has been very consistent the last few months, and she's already at, I think she said Success Club 9, and like added 2 coaches already, and we're at the 4th of the month. And so everything that you're doing now is really or how you're doing with your people saying yes, and you're responding to filling up your challenge groups, is a reflection of what was happening several months ago. So if 2 or 3 months ago, I know a lot of us, it was summertime, right? So maybe we weren't as consistent, and that could be catching up with you now. I've seen a few coaches who are dealing with that exact same thing. So if this, let's say in October, you were being consistent, but maybe you still missed your goal for the month, that could be because of what you were doing a few months before that. There's 2 DMs now. Hey, DM. So you're going to need some time to keep working on that consistency for that momentum to pick back up again. So I want you guys to think of a goal that's big and hairy, kind of scares the crap out of you, and that those goals are, keeping in mind that goals are meant to stretch you. They're there to help make you grow, and create a little bit of urgency in your life. And let's see. Urgency also helps you. It demands ownership from you, right? Making sure that you take ownership for where you and your family want to be. Like, think about where you want to be with your family and your goals 5 years down the road. What does that look like in your life? I know Elizabeth's talked about wanting to work part-time to have more time with her family. Deanne's already down to part-time, wanting to completely leave her job. And I know those are very important goals to you guys. And so constantly thinking about that and where you see yourself 5 years down the road. Christina wants to have her husband home more with her. She has 5 children. And so she wants to be able to help him be able to come home and work at a job closer to them where she's able to supplement their income. Julie as well. All of you guys have a very similar big, hairy goal. And so imagining what you want that to look like for your family in 5 years helps to create that ownership of what you're doing every single day in your business. I always, and I've talked about this on a team call recently, but I always think about, I want to be able to have the ability to tell my children no because I just don't want them to do something versus no because we can't afford it. That's important to me. And so, I want saying yes or no to them to be a choice, not something that we have to do because of where we're at. Okay. So be thinking about what your goals are, because we're going to write them in the group, what your goals are for the month and for each week as well. Okay. So for me in my planner, I write down the beginning of the month what my goals are for the month, but I'm also every single week, I write at the top of my planner for that week. It opens up to the whole week at a time. And I think, okay, I want to add 3 coaches this week. And I write that down. And then who are people that I'm talking to right now? Who are some people in my challenge groups that I can be reaching out to? And I write their names down so I can really make sure I'm focusing on that relationship and connecting with them. And then of course in the tracker, you write down what your goals are in there, and then you're updating it every day with where you're at. So you can really see that. There's just something powerful about the affirmations, about writing down your goals every day, and seeing where you're at in relation to those goals and planning out for your next day. what do you need to do the next day? And all that helps prevent overwhelm. I know that does for me. Like today I was sitting there like, oh my gosh, there's a million, there's just like always little things I got to get done. Like I need to do a drawing for this challenge group. I need to send this prize out. And I need to pay for this. And it can sometimes feel just like crazy in my mind. But when I write it down and I just put it on a day, okay, I'll take care of that Tuesday. It's good. I don't have to do it all at once. I'm a Ruby, so I like to get all the things done and I will push myself, but that's also not a good thing. So if I can give it a day, break it up, it helps. Okay, so I want to talk to y'all. There's 4 things as a leader that you must live your life by, and they are modeling, motivating, mentoring, and multiplying. Okay? Model, motivate, mentor, multiply. And we're going to mostly talk about modeling tonight. And modeling, it's the foundation. That's exactly what we're doing in this group, right? It is the foundation for what you're doing. Think about building a house. Okay? The foundation, it has to be there to hold that house up, or the whole thing is going to crumble. Now, it's not the sexy part. People don't drive by a beautiful house and be like, oh my gosh, that foundation is so gorgeous. They don't do that. Nobody sees it. A lot of times people don't see the daily grind that you're putting into your business. Now you can show bits of that on your stories because you do want to show that this business takes work. So people don't come on and they're like, oh my gosh, I thought this was all fun and parties, and now I actually have to do something. And then they quit. So you want to show them that, hey, we get to do that fun stuff, but I am actually working the business as well. But think about the law of magnetism. You attract who you are, not what you want. You guys know John Maxwell? You followed him before. He's amazing. He has like 90 books on leadership. But that's his law of magnetism. You attract who you are, not what you want. So the things that you guys are doing are in the group are the things that you're going to be capable of reproducing. So you're not going to reproduce something that you're not doing already. If we are modeling properly, okay, and we're doing these things, we actually earn the right to be able to motivate other people because you're doing it. You can't ask your coaches to do something that you're not also making sure that you're modeling in your own life. And motivation, it's kind of it's a tricky word, right? Like it's not just getting your coaches to do what you want them to do. It's helping them do what they want to do. That is what motivation has to come from, is getting them to do what they actually want to do. That's part of why you guys are in this group. Not everybody has a big goal of wanting to earn an income where they can leave their job or whatever, right? Now, oftentimes by them working towards what they want to do, they are starting to do what you want them to do as well. It kind of happens that way. But then we earn the right after we model for them the behaviors so that we can motivate them. And then at that point is when we earn the right to mentor them. And you guys remember this. As you start to grow a team underneath you, you can't mentor everybody, especially as your team gets very large. You just can't do it. And not everybody is in that place to even want to. They do need to earn your time. And while I'm always there and encouraging and trying to reach out and check on my coaches, I can't pull off all of them. I can't carry everybody on my back. They have to show up and do it too. And you guys continuing to bring new people into your team who are excited, that's where a lot of the new energy comes from and keeps your team alive. I've said this a lot of to several coaches lately because they're like, oh, why so-and-so just won't get to Emerald, or she just won't stay Emerald, or do this or that. And I'm like, they're asking, well, what do I do? I'm like, well, honestly, you just need to find new coaches to bring on. You can't make them do it. So figure out who the people are on your team that want to work, and they're the ones that are going to get the support from you. I'm going to grab some water. I always do this. My throat gets really dry from talking. Be right back. All right, sorry. Okay. So if we mentor properly, then we're going to begin to start to multiply ourselves. Okay. And that's where the magic's going to begin. So before we can have all those other levels, though, modeling has to happen. That has to be the foundation, or the rest of it's not gonna hold together. Like I said, it's the unsexy part. But we have to start at the ground level, and we never can abandon it. I've done this for 7 years, and I've never abandoned the vital behaviors. I've never abandoned the inviting, the following up, the connecting. I am doing all of those same things that I'm asking you guys to do, and I've never stopped. So you don't get to diamond or, star diamond level and stop doing the foundation part. All right. The law of the lid. I know Julie knows this one. Deanne may too. But you're never going to be more or attract anybody more successful than where you are. So no, you're never going to grow beyond a certain leadership lid that you have. So we have to constantly be raising that lid by growing ourselves, by pushing ourselves, by engaging in personal development that's helping us grow as a leader and improve our skills. And Josh talked about this, that you'll never be more successful than your ownership of where you need to go in your life. So we can't blame our success or lack of success on anybody else or what anybody else is doing or not doing on our team. Because we could sit back and be like, oh my gosh, I would be this if so-and-so would just do this. If they would just get to diamond, or if they would just get to emerald, or if they just stick to their power hour, I would be successful. But I'm not successful because they're not doing their things. You can't blame it on anybody else. You have to take ownership for where you're at, and you have to move forward and control what you can control. I also had this conversation with Greg today too. He's been getting it from me lately. But think of a coffee shop, like a local coffee shop, Starbucks comes into town and they're like, oh my gosh, my business sucks because Starbucks opened. And then they just never change anything about themselves to try to grow, then their business is going to go down. But instead, if they want to be a successful coffee shop, they have to look within and be like, okay, what do we need to do? What does my company need to do in order to grow, in order to not let Starbucks take me down? So you have to just know that you got to own yourself, own your own failures, take 100% responsibility for your business, and move it forward, despite what anybody else is or is not doing. Always looking in the mirror at what you can do to improve yourself. Our circumstances aren't in control. We are in control of what we're doing. So if your team's not where you want it to be, you have to work on you. You have to look inside of you and find a way to become better and take ownership for where you're at. Ultimately, it all depends on you. Our goals do not depend on others. It involves others, but it doesn't depend on anybody else, okay? All right, so number one, maybe you need to find better people, or number two, you need to get better at training your people. Okay, let's see. So some things I want you guys to implement is, and like I said, we've got this tracker. That tracker is there to force you into the activities that you need to be wanting and that you want to duplicate in your team, and then there to help you step it up in your own business while learning how to motivate others. And I'm telling you, like the first week or two, you're like, oh my gosh, this is stressful. But then it's going to start to create some awesome energy for yourself and for your team. And the things like the posting in the team page, even if you have one coach or you have no coaches, just post in there. that's you starting to do the behaviors. It's like projecting it into the universe and it's going to come back around to you. It creates a positive energy for you by encouraging other people, and you'll be able to project that outwardly in conversations that you're having. I think Christina put a chat in here. My pastor Dave was talking about when the big fast food growth hit, Chick-fil-A asked, how can we get better, not bigger? Yeah, that's good. Gotta love Chick-fil-A. They do pretty good, huh? They're even closed on Sundays. So you guys you're gonna work your business like you've never done before. You're gonna set your own numbers and what that looks like for you. I mean, I gave you guys numbers to aim for on that tracker as far as your goals. You're gonna set that. And anyway, I think that's it. So that's our focus this month, is really getting good at just doing the things. And then next month, possibly talk about, what is this? We removed the 40-minute time limit on your first group meeting. I pay for this thing. Weird. Okay. Huh. That's strange. And then we're going to talk about how to duplicate this with coaches on your team. Okay. All right. So I'm going to open this up for you guys to just share on a scale of 1 to 10. How did your week go over the past week and a half? And then what do you need help with? Julie, I saw you unmute. So you want to go first?
Sure. I feel like I did maybe like a 7-ish on like doing the things in the tracker. But as far as like getting results with, adding anybody or hitting Success Club, that was a 0.
Okay. So where were you a few months ago? Were you being consistent then?
Probably not in July.
Okay. So it could be, I mean, the fourth quarter, of course, is always kind of a struggle anyway, but it could be catching up a little bit from the summer.
Mm-hmm. And I always try and do like the minimum, but probably this summer I was not doing the minimum.
Okay. Yeah.
Every day.
So partly a reflection of that.
Yeah. When you said that, I was like, oh.
That's what it was. Yeah. Well, it's true. I mean, I see that a lot. But
in August, I picked it back up, so hopefully I'll see those results soon.
Okay, cool. Anything else? Good. Okay. Deanne?
Hello.
Hey, girl.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So first off, my goals for this month are SC30 and 6 new coaches. I've never done that before. My goal has always been 4 coaches a month, which is 1 a week. But there's no reason I can't add more than that since I already added 2. So yeah, I'm gonna push myself. And I feel like I have been consistent, and like I said, I think that's been showing now this month compared to last month where I was struggling, still getting goals but struggling. So yeah, I think just my consistency really helped. But there are days that I need to push myself more. I kind of get, like you were saying, Kristen, like, oh, there's an online boutique. Let me just look at that for 2 minutes. And then look at this. And then all of a sudden Carter's up from his nap and I'm like, oh shoot, I only sent 1 invite that entire time. So I need to just do the invites first and then do the other stuff after. I need to I think when I write a list down of what are my go-to have to be done, I think it'll really help. And so I wrote down what our check-offs on our sheet are on a piece of paper on my desk. And so that's the first thing I look at when I sit down now. So I'm trying to focus on those things first and then do the other things after.
Yeah.
So that's helping me.
Cool.
One thing I know I do need help with is affirmations. I've never done it. I guess I feel like I don't even know how to do it. I know I've heard about it in personal development books, and I've just never been one to do it, I guess. I don't know. So I never put a yes in that box. And I hate seeing it blank.
Yeah. Did you print off that thing that helps you write down some affirmations says like, I am worthy of.
So I didn't print it out, but I looked at it.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess like I don't know, like I just don't know like what to say.
Yeah. Well,
Like I mean I've seen people like even in like Girl Wash Her Face, she like
yeah, go ahead.
what did you say?
No, what were you gonna say about Girl You Wash Your Face? Because that's actually
Um
an idea.
so yeah, like she talks about affirmations in there and how to say like what you see yourself as being. So like I am a successful leader, I am like, you know, stuff like that. It's like, you know, like I can tell myself, like I think of that stuff for an affirmation, but like I just don't know that I feel like it does anything to me when I say it. Like, do I just need to do it like for a week every single morning and then see if it makes me, I don't know, think the way I'm supposed to think?
I think so. Like, okay, you know, at our retreat, when we actually had to say some of that stuff out loud, like it's just different really than us just thinking it randomly, you know, like flippantly, versus when I actually like have to say something. Like if I have to look you in the eyes, you know, I remember at the retreat, it's like such an emotional thing. You remember that when we did we had to get rid of the negative
Yeah.
thoughts, and then we had to speak, like I had to say to Julie, like, I'm beautiful or whatever, you know, it just, I don't know, it's powerful saying it out loud. I think it's powerful to look at it every single day, even though we think it might seem so this is silly, is this working? But I think when it comes into play is when you have a hard time during the day. You guys, I'll just share with you something personal from this week. And Ashley, if she listens to the recording, she knows what happened. But I have a neighbor on my street that completely attacked me and my other neighbor, just bashing us. And it was horrible. I mean, things that I would never, ever say to another human being. And if it wasn't for positive affirmations and personal development this week, I would be like in a hole. And so I just think that those things, it is very, very powerful to help you be able to combat. See, I get emotional talking about it because it was so upsetting. But it's going to help you combat that kind of crap that flies at you. Or when you're struggling with Success Club, or you get something negative from somebody in your life, it's going to help you push forward. Because you know those things aren't true, you know? So, anyway.
Yeah.
That was a pretty shitty week.
Yeah, I do think that's a good idea, though. I need to like write them down.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, try it. DM. We're gonna you go in our group and go live and be like, I am an awesome leader. They're
man.
uncomfortable. Affirmations are a little bit uncomfortable. I always think about Melanie Mitro, when she shares the story how she wrote on her bathroom mirror like top coach or something one year, and she tried to wipe it off, and then every time her mirror would fog up after she get out of the shower, that's what would show up. And so she just kept looking at that every single day. I always think of her story. I'm like, that is pretty cool. Maybe I need to do that. All right.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, you know what else? Because you mentioned Girl Wash Your Face, Deanne. I don't know if you listened to Rachel Hollis's, when she did the training for Beachbody for the coaches who hit Success Club one of the months this summer. She talks about writing down 10 goals that you want to achieve in 10 years and one focus. So like Beachbody being your avenue to get to those 10 goals that you have in your life that you want to be able to achieve in the next 10 years. And one of hers was like never fly anything but first class. I remember her sharing that story.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I listened to that one.
So that's a cool way that you could do some affirmations too, is just writing down like 10 really cool goals that you would just really like to, you know, no matter how big or small.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right. Okay, Christina. But she's not on the picture. Let's do Elizabeth, and I'll have Christina come back in a second. So y'all, Elizabeth and I go way back.
Way back.
I've known Nicole a long time, but Elizabeth and I have known each other from like first grade.
And then
So
there was a big gap.
there was a big gap, but social media brought us back together, which is really
Yes.
so.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so the tracker this week, I think I did pretty good, better than I thought I was going to do. I'd probably give myself a 6 or a 7. And it actually got better throughout the week. So I'm looking forward to the next week or two, maybe being a little less overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest struggle that I've had lately was October was like the most consistent I've been, which hopefully will help in the next few months. But being like a newer coach, still trying to figure some things out. Like I invited 3 people every day, and I don't know how many coaches, 3 to 5 coaches every week, which was like crazy for me.
Yeah. Awesome.
And which was good. And then I kind of got frustrated at the end of the month because I ended up hitting a SC4 thanks to the sale. And I got a few people pushed on Wednesday night. So, which was good in the end. But yeah, so hopefully that'll pay off later and we'll just be consistent from here on out. But putting in all the effort and then seeing like no quick reward was tough. But going back, I mean, July was July and I'm still trying to figure it out. And I know I wasn't near as consistent as I was this month and hopefully going forward. So anyway, hopefully that'll get better. But I think I'm struggling the most, and it would be good to hear from some of you guys that have been doing this a lot longer than me, with like more of the warm and cold market. I've been working definitely hot to warm market right now, trying to connect with people, but I really struggle with like building, especially like Instagram followers, people I don't know at all, and starting to follow and build connections. And I kind of get lost in that. So I have intentions to send like the follow-ups when they, start following me, and I have not done well at that, not consistently. But I don't know if y'all have any suggestions on kind of how to build that market, because I kind of feel like I'm running through my hot and most of my warm market right now.
Do you mean like how to get new followers on Instagram, or how to start connecting with the ones who are following you, or both?
Both, but probably at least starting with the people who are already following me right now and like building on that, since that's already there.
You know what Josh said, and I was like, oh, he's kind of right. Because I feel like Instagram is a little bit different than Facebook for this. But he's like, if they're following your Instagram page and watching your stories, he said that's not really cold. I guess cold would be more like someone who's not following you at all, and you just go to their page and you're like, this person's awesome, and you invite them. Which, I mean, the PBJ invites, I've kind of done that before. I go like and comment some of their stuff. And it's planting the seed, I've had a few people. It's funny because many will be like, I get asked that like every day. And then I just be like, well, there's a reason for that. And then I try to just build a relationship from there,
Mm-hmm.
And just be like, what do you do? Where are you from? And just start that connection, add them to my list. So I know that initial cold invite would like 99% probably be a no right now, but it's not a no necessarily forever. So at least now I'm in front of them, and I would hope to be the person that continues to show that I care and show up in their life, and maybe they'll start to follow me back. I don't know. But I have seen so many times people come back around to me that I initially invited. They didn't say yes at first, and then they realize, oh, you're like a real person on the other end. Like you're actually trying to get to know me. And they're like, you're like a girl told me the other day, you're like the real thing over there. She's like, I appreciate you. Like, not giving up on me and just continuing to talk with her and be a friend, even though she didn't say yes the first time. So anyway, but if they're following your stories and they're watching your post on Instagram, they decided to follow you, it's not necessarily cold. They're in your business. So it's okay to reach out and be like, especially if they commented or liked a fitness type post of mine, then I tend to just straight up invite them. If they're just liking on a post that's just like about my kids, it's more of just like a connection of, hey, I love seeing new people on my feed. You know, where are you from? How old are your kids? I just try to build the relationship first. And then I would send an invite. That's just what I feel comfortable with. I think we all have to figure out what we think works best for us. Anybody else have something to add to that?
I would say just like if you're using hashtags and you're getting new followers from that is a good way to just say like, thanks for following me. You know, I'm a busy mom of 4. How about you? Or I'm a busy mom that likes to eat healthy and take naps. How about you? You know, stuff like that. That's a starter conversation. But like she said, if they're liking and commenting or watching your story, that's an invite.
Sounds good.
Yeah. They're following you for a reason, you know?
Yeah. I've been timid about that. Like there's been a handful of people that have watched the stories kind of fairly consistently, like on and off. So I did send a couple last week. But there's a couple more out there that I know I could reach out to this week. So
yeah.
Good. Thanks for the push.
Yeah, and I mean, you can do a lot of the same thing on Facebook if they're liking and commenting on a fitness type post. I mean, I don't cold invite a random person on Facebook if they're not looking at my stuff. I build a relationship first, but if they're looking at my stuff and I keep seeing them show up, it's an invite.
Okay.
So, seed planted. All right, Christina, we're looking at your seedling. Hey, girl, you nursing? Oh, sorry. There you go.
Hi.
Baby right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so as far as tracking, I do have to get in there and update the last couple days. And I was listening, I think maybe it was Elizabeth, and said that hers got better as the week went on. I feel like mine actually got worse. But that was just me not going in there and tracking. But I liked the tracker. I feel like as far as using it, I'm probably like a 6 right now. I don't know. I guess maybe my personality, I don't know. But that Power Pockets thing that you shared with me a while ago, it has a lot of the same similar stuff.
Right.
So for me, I printed that off tonight, and I'm going to keep using that because I don't know, it's something about like actually checking it off for me as I'm doing my Power Pocket, like, and then I can look at that instead of having to have my computer open or whatever and see what I've accomplished.
Yeah.
You know, like I can just look at that piece of paper and have my check marks next to it, and then, you know, go update that tracker at night because they're the same thing. But I really enjoy the tracker as far as telling me what to post.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that part. Like breadcrumb post today, go live today, you know, engagement post today. Like I really enjoy that part. That's really helped me a lot. Cause I mean, I think I've shared with you before, like I struggle on what to post all the time.
Right.
And so having that has really helped me.
Yeah. And the Power Pockets, I mean, pretty much have you eventually doing everything on that tracker. And it may be that, okay, you know, it says to invite 5 people a day or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you invite 10 people Monday, that's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Set it out a little bit differently. But just try to make sure your weekly average is around that number, 25 a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
So that you're, you know, obviously the more people we talk to, again, it's more about momentum. Try to hit those numbers. It's going to help the next few months be strong for you.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool. Yeah, I'm glad the Power Pockets are helping because Christina's got, she's got 5 little kids, so she needs little pockets of time. She doesn't have a big stretch of time, you know, to work, so I'm sure that helps. Oh, you guys, I'm super excited, especially like Elizabeth, Dan, you ladies who work outside the home too. Tomorrow night, we have a guest speaker that Nicole Grafton met at. Nicole Grafton went to Josh Coates's retreat. I didn't get to go because I was in Asheville, but she actually went to that retreat and she met this girl who works full time as a teacher, and she's also rocking her Beachbody business. And I can't remember what rank she's at now, but she's doing really well. And she's speaking tomorrow night. I was like, Nicole, can you get her on a call for us? Because she like does the things, she does trackers and she can knock that tracker out. I think she says in like 45 minutes or something. So that hopefully that will give you guys some good tips, especially for my ladies who work full time. I was going to tell you. Oh, and apply, if you haven't applied things like the text replacement, we all worked on doing some of that to help you. I love that. Yeah. Like I have several follow-up messages, like follow-up 3 is like my final follow-up of, hey, you know, I hope I'm not bugging you. I didn't want you to be afraid to tell me no right now. So that will help save you a whole lot of time for like people that are following you on Instagram, sending, if you have like, you know, a short invite that you would send to people who are following an Instagram post about fitness or something, or your coaching opportunity, that you just have IG follow or IG invite, and then it just pops up. Save you a bunch of time so you don't overthink it. Okay. I do personally like to go to that person's page, and if I see something that I could connect with that person on, I add a little bit of that into that invite, or just ask them a question related to what I see on their page. So they, you know, just to personalize it, I think can go a long ways as well. Okay.
Yeah, I go to their pages too and make sure they speak English and aren't 12 years old.
That is
a lot of this. Like, where is your mother letting you do all this on Instagram?
I love you. You're so funny. Julie, I'm thinking that I love it. I love it. I love it. My YouTube video. Thank you. I needed that laugh. All right, ladies. I'll let you go. It's late for Elizabeth, especially.
Thanks, guys.
So, good night. I'll see you on the next week.